what you can learn from young Warren Buffett.
Yeah, did you read this article, Corey, in the Wall Street
did
Journal?
not.
Okay, so here's the deal. Somebody, I don't know the name of the book, so don't hold me to that, but there's a book out there. Somebody basically did the research of Warren Buffett's early investments.
Okay.
And then what he did is that he or she, I don't forget who the author is, they researched how much information Warren Buffett would have had about these companies up until then. You know what I mean? So like they're not using hindsight 2020. They said, okay, Warren knew all he could possibly know about this investment was X, and he chose to make that investment. I thought that's pretty cool. It's a pretty good idea for a book. So this is talking about his first millions he made in undervalued companies during the 1950s and 60s. So we're going way back here. The article or the book also emphasizes the importance of thorough research and patience. You know, we're talking about the 50s or 60s. The article talks about that while Buffett's strategies were highly effective in his time, replicating them today may be more challenging due to increased market efficiency. So, here it is. The name of the book, Corey, is it's called Buffett's Early Investments, and it's by Brett Gardner. So there's 10 specific investments that this guy analyzed out there. And so here's my point here. Here's where I want to go pro-con with our theory of our show here.
Okay.
Is that should you, all right, so this is for someone that's a savvy do-it-yourselfer, whatever. Should they try to replicate Buffett's strategy, Corey, with 5 to 10% of their portfolio? All right, so I'll start off with the pros because it's my article.
Okay.
So the pro of doing this, and again, this is not advice, I'm not endorsing this, but if you do this, you have potential for high returns. Because if you invest in undervalued companies and they shoot up, right, they go to the moon, you can make a lot of money. So that is a pro of trying to hit a home run, basically is what I'm saying.
Sure. And one of the cons, though, Jake, I think is the market efficiency that the article, it sounds like, pointed out. Markets are more efficient today. That makes it more difficult to find undervalued stocks with the same potential for growth. Like, I think that was a whole different ballgame in the 50s and 60s than it is today.
Yeah, exactly. Could you imagine trying to do research on a stock without the internet?
Not really.
Could you imagine trying to do that?
Not really.
Exactly. I don't know what I would do.
I really can't.
And now
I have not. Now that I think about it, not in my lifetime.
I'm leaning on Copilot, AI. Now, again, Copilot AI is not the official thing, right? So you got to take it with a grain of salt. There's a lot of errors in Copilot, but boy, I've been leaning on AI to do my research just about personal things or even, learning things. So again, imagine what Warren Buffett was doing in the 50s or 60s to do his. Anyways, all right. So
who was his Copilot? That's the question.
Charlie Munger? I don't know. Who his Copilot was. But all right. So number 2, the reason to potentially consider this is that it is a learning experience. So again, if you're attempting to replicate Buffett's methods, you could learn and get valuable insights into investment strategies and just the market behavior. So again, I think it's a good learning, particularly for like the young people out there, right? You're in your 20s, you don't have a lot of money anyways, and you want to try to be the next Warren Buffett. More power to you. The key here, and full disclosure, is you never want to invest or risk anything that you can't afford to lose, right? You don't want to screw up your entire financial plan by doing this. All right, what's another con, Corey?
Yeah, I think the risk, right? That learning experience, Jake, could be a very expensive one. Allocating a portion of your portfolio to high risk investments can lead to significant losses. It can lead to significant gains, but it can lead to losses too, especially if the investments do not perform the way that they're expected to.
Right. And I would, the article says 5 to 10%. I think that's too high. I would do 1%, literally 1%.
So was the idea though, Jake, that Warren, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but is the idea that Warren Buffett basically made more heavily concentrated bets in these specific companies that he perceived then is undervalued?
I think so. It was a while ago since I read the article, but I think that's what it's getting at, that I think like maybe he only made 10 investments, but with a lot of money.
Okay.
And I don't think you could argue he got lucky, but the problem with that is that the guy's been doing well for decades, so it's not like he made $1 billion in 1950 and he's just been sitting on it.
True.
He made money. But again, this is a thesis that worked for Warren Buffett. It worked in the 1950s and 60s. Some would argue it wouldn't work today because, again, markets are far more efficient. Things move a lot faster. I think the guy was like literally Corey going to the company's headquarters and talking to the CEO. Like
Right.
that's
Yep.
what he was doing. So you're going to
Yep.
go to New York or Indiana or wherever, like you're going to leave and go, and then, do you really think a CEO is going to talk to an individual investor? I mean, come on, right?
Right. Yeah,
Probably
you're right
not.
about that.
Probably not. I don't know how Warren Buffett got access, but he did. Maybe these companies were so small and they needed investors so badly that they wanted to talk to him. But
And the world
again,
was a different place before the internet. It
it
just
was a
was.
different place. You're right. You're right. So yeah, maybe CEOs were much more likely to take those types of meetings. But anyways, might be. Are you going to read the book? Did I pique your interest on reading the book?
My interest is peaked, but I've got a long stack of books, Jake, to work through. But I'll add this one to that stack.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to read it. I don't think I'm going to read it because I don't think it pertains to today. And you know what, though, Corey? I'm not trying to be Warren Buffett either. Now,
Right.
I don't want our clients to take offense to that. We are trying to hit our targets, our clients' target rate of returns. That's what I'm trying to do. So if my client's target rate of return is 6%, we're trying to make them 6%. Now, we don't need to be Warren Buffett to do. We don't need to go buy beat up, crappy companies and hope that they go up to do that. So
We don't have
we
a lot of
believe,
clients that plan to work until their 90s either,
right,
right?
like Warren Buffett. And good for
Circumstances are
Warren.
different. They're
Good for
different.
Warren.
Right.
Good
So
for
the approach
Warren.
might be different though if you're planning on working until you're in your 90s.
Yes, it
The
is a
way you
lot
invest
different.
your money might be different.
You're right. You're right. You're right. So again, our clients' goals and objectives are different. I thought it was a cool article, though. I think it's cool that somebody did the research and did the work and put it in writing. I think that's awesome.